Running up and down, grabbing chips.
8-handed cash game action.
Not
high stakes and high variance as well, Gary. We've seen some big pots already.
Yeah, it's quite early days, and there's been some big pots already.
I think I could the ear of the four.
Had over 15,000 euros, nearly 20,000 euros with Christoph Heller and Sammy George earlier on.
There we go. That's the one.
350. Pass.
Andy Black's going to open things up with Ace Jack.
Cool.
A call from Albert Iverson.
Cool.
Well,
This could be a family pot.
Game really is playing loose pre-flop,
Cool.
isn't it?
Yes. Not a lot of tightness at all.
How much did you make it?
350 total.
Well, I mean,
And cool.
How many callers did I get? This
So 6 people
you know what, I'm happy.
will be seeing the flop here, I think.
Must win.
Reminds me of my home game at the moment, Gary, just with a few more noughts.
Jack, Queen, King.
Well, that's a pretty good flop for Albert
Check.
Iverson.
Check.
He's flopped the stone cold nuts
Check.
with ace 10.
Oh, someone had to try and take it. If that's come, what type of crap are you
1350.
Of course, he's going to bet it. Who's he going to get action from? Apart from Sammy, obviously.
Even
Pass.
Sammy might be hard-pressed to find an excuse to call this one.
And pass.
He'll be upset he doesn't manage to find someone with 2 pair on that board, but he won't be too upset with the fact that he just won a nice little pot. 2,000 euros in there.
5 calls you had.
We were friends.
Well, this game started deep. It's actually got even deeper. Some big pots early, and some of the people suffering dents in their stacks have rebought. Alan Iverson in seat 1 and Peter Eastgate in seat 2. Got a lot of money on the table, Gary.
Yes, there is. Over 100,000 euros. And like you say, there's been some casualties already.
Are you playing 10 behind this hand? Yeah.
He's not behind anymore.
Pass.
Riku has the premium hand here. Ace King
I got in
suited.
50 already. So.
Pretty much guaranteed to get
Well,
some
me
action
too.
at this table.
He is, and he has.
And cool.
I need it really specific now.
Sammy George and Andy Black all calling.
4, 9, 6.
And Sammy
Check.
hits
Check.
bingo.
Yep.
Check.
It's not a bad flop for Christoph Haller either.
And check.
Everyone checks it.
4.
Wow. And that gives 3 4s to Andy Black.
Yeah, this could be carnage.
13.
Well, Haller bets. A lot of times his jacks would be good on this board, but he's third.
Yes, exactly. The only thing that's going to be worrying him,
Okay.
if anyone could have a 4 in this flop, he'd think it would be Sammy George.
Well, quick call from Andy Black with 3 4s. Gustav Haller bet. They're both behind to Sammy George here.
Yeah, he's done well not to raise this one, Andy.
Queen.
Don't say that. I'm funky for you, Sam.
Christoph
Well, now
might.
Christoph Haller must be... Oh, he's going to bet it again.
Well, he must think that he's in front here. Neither of them have raised him.
5. All in.
Might not like it quite so much now.
Well, that was really quick, wasn't it? I wonder if that will allow Andy to get away from it.
Yeah, quite possibly.
I mean, Sammy didn't even have to think there.
It is a
29.50.
possibly a giveaway.
I could go back to bed now.
Andy Black thought he had a very fortuitous hand. Thanks, I'm here all week. He actually doesn't. He actually is in a lot of trouble. Shade under 3,000. There's 10,500 in the pot.
Fold.
Makes a
says
solid
fold.
lay
If you
down.
had 200 more, you wouldn't get that
450
450.
more.
Good lay down from Andy.
Oh, it was only 450 more to Christoph Haller.
There's not really much he can do in that pot. That's what means it's obviously not a bluff.
Drop me a 4. Yeah.
Looks like I'm not going home, Neil.
Thank God. Thank God, Sam.
I was calling.
Sammy George chips back up.
And
Was in trouble early. He's back up to 11,000 with
Could
that.
afford that. so much to scoop up. Well, my game's come a long way. I mean, they call me Sammy Any 2 because when I was starting off in the Vic, when we were playing, I'd play literally any 2 cards. That name's actually stuck with me for all the years. And I've actually kept that little crazy side, but I've kept it under control. So I know when to bring it out and when not to bring it out. A lot of people, they don't actually understand how the hell I play, to be honest. And that is my greatest strength, because when I do have the nuts, people never put me on the nuts. And I will, in cash games, more often than not, get called. If you're gonna fear anyone's gonna be Neil Channing, Andy Black. It's a cash game, like any other cash game, so you come in to try and win what you can and go, really. As Neil Channing likes to say, hit and run. I'm not saying I'm the best poker player in the world, because I'm not, but I'm learning, and eventually I will be. Because I don't fear anyone on the poker table, to be honest with you. Whether you're the greatest in the world or some kid that's come from Scandinavia saying down 100 grand. To me, it doesn't matter.
Gary, it's amazing how the tenor of a cash table can get set early and then stick.
350.
A couple of big pots early on, and it's really loosened up the game.
Cool.
Yeah, there's been plenty of action. And it almost looks like Riku came to gamble. He kind of found a few hands that he wanted to gamble with, but he's realised he doesn't have to. Now he's pretty well sat back, letting everyone else do the gambling, and maybe he's changed his style. In this pot, we've got Peter Eastgate and Eric Liu. The pocket queens of Peter Eastgate still in front.
6.
Eric's probably going to call this, take a card off.
Cool.
He does. Good flop for a pair of 7s.
Ace.
Not such a good turn, but they've both got a diamond in their hand.
Check.
You'd have thought that was a check to call rather than a check to do anything else.
I think it's a check to look for both of the players. They're both having a look to see if they've got a diamond.
It's another old school bit of info, isn't it? If they look back, they're always looking for 1.
You can be pretty sure neither of them have got a set of 9s or a set of 3s or a set of aces, because there's not much point. They've both gone check, check.
Check.
Eastgate's
13.
convinced his queens are good. We can see that he's right.
They do it with the white hair and the suit.
Now the question is, Eric convinced? Looks like he's going to lay it down. He does.
On for Peter Eastgate. He needs a few more. Not the best start for him, but he's an experienced online cash player, and he won't be panicking.
No, not at all.
We've seen great action at this table so far. These players came to play. They're not afraid to put chips in the middle.
They certainly aren't. We've got a live straddle on this pot. We've had pots of around the €20,000 mark with some, well, questionable hands. And they're certainly playing very, very lively poker.
I don't know.
No ice, please.
Peter Eastgate limps with 2 6s.
500.
Eric Liu's going to try and punish him for doing that. 500 he makes it with his Jack 10.
We went to dinner last night.
Neil Channing lays down the king queen.
How was the restaurant, by the way?
Good restaurant.
I was gonna come, but I was like 15 grand down. And then we had to build
I was going to come, but Sammy was 15 grand down.
so I couldn't leave.
Suddenly wasn't.
But then Bambus helped me out.
Peter calls, and they'll be heads up for the flop.
It's a really good restaurant. We've been there before.
So what was the restaurant called?
Soho House.
9, 9,
yes. Where did
10.
you go? Middle floor or top floor?
Pretty good flop for Eric. In truth, any flop without a 6 on it's probably a good flop for Eric.
He might get paid for at least 1 bet here. It's not a disastrous flop for 6s, is it?
Quite possibly.
Richard Corrigan.
No, before. When I had the flush.
With all of these large raises pre-flop,
Very nice.
it does mean that the bet on the flop's still quite expensive to actually call, relative to the size of the stack.
Wish I'd have come though. And just sit with him.
Not that you should really be worrying about that as much in a cash game, of course.
Instead of coming to eat at Soho House.
Peter doesn't want anything to do with it. And Eric Liu will take down a €2,000 pot.
Were you there, Andy, yesterday?
In the early going, we've already seen some big chip swings. Riku Virasari and Albert Iverson find themselves trailing the pack, but so far our big winner is Christoph Haller, good for almost a €5,000 profit. As the leaders set about counting their chips, a few of the others have already had to reach back into their pockets for an early top-up. Join us next time for some more action from the Poker Heaven European Cash Game.